Agenda. Well, you know him as the long-haired, tough as nails bounty hunter who has busted criminals all around the globe. But Duane "Dog" Chapman is way more than just the star of a hit TV show.
That's right. He's a two-time New York Times best-selling author whose new book, 9 Lives and Counting, explores his journey to faith, hope, and redemption.
And here he is, Duane "Dog" Chapman, joining us now to discuss his story. Dog, welcome to American Agenda. We're all super excited to have you on the show. Let's dive right in and talk about your brand new book. What made you decide now is the time to share this story?
Oh, wow. So, and the Bible says in the last days, I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. So I'm getting in on that. And I wanted to tell people, you know, my religious belief, my faith, and how God redeemed me and how God has blessed me. And it was time that, you know, way back in the 70s when I joined an outlaw motorcycle club, I always talked about God, even though I didn't, you know, serve him. So I was named Dog for God spelled backwards. So finally, as I'm entering the fourth quarter of my life, after Beth has passed 5 years ago, I met Francie a couple of years after that, and one of her requirements is that I serve God and that I stick with God. So I'm going to do all I could do to keep my Francie, and I want to go to heaven, and I want to take as many people as I can with me. So even when I'm gone, 9 Lives and Counting will still be there, and I'm leaving a legacy, and it is 9 Lives and Counting.
Well, that is a tremendous story there, Dog, and someone
Thank
who
you.
watched you growing up when I was a very young man here. I remember seeing you on TV. A lot of great entertaining memories and incredible work you used to do here. We know that you yourself, though, at one point you were incarcerated. Talk about how you were able to find hope maybe in prison and through God here in this next leg of your life.
Well, I was raised in the Assembly of God. My mother was a Sunday school teacher. She's the 4th generation of ministers in the family. So I grew up under the cloth, as you say. And then in the 70s, I joined an outlaw motorcycle club called the Devil's Disciples, which was a sister club to the Hells Angels. And I had an ID that said I was 19. I was only 15. So at 16 or 17, I became the sergeant of arms. And then in the 70s, I caught a first-degree murder case out of Texas. And back then in Texas, if you did not do it, but you were there and didn't call the police, one of my brothers biker brothers went in a house to buy marijuana, and he tried to rob the guy. The guy grabbed the gun and shot him in the shoulder. And so we thought, you know, he was wounded, and in the morning he died. So we all went to trial. We were all sentenced. I was sentenced to 5 years and a day for first-degree murder by Judge Granger McElhaney. And after being there a while in prison, the warden brought me in and said, you know, would you shoot somebody that was sleeping with your wife? Because back then, those days in Texas, it was almost a justifiable homicide. And I told him the story. And a couple of days later, he called me out and took me into the room and said, Dog, I called your sheriff, and he told me the same story. And I asked the sheriff, why'd you put this guy in prison? And Sheriff Ruth Jordan said, well, we had to stop him. You know, I tried to join the military, and they said they'd take women and children before they take me because of my record. And the sheriff said, so the only place to stop him was Texas. And so the warden said, I'm going to cry. I'm sorry. He said, I know your birthday's on Groundhog's Day, February 2nd, as you say. But he said, you've only done 18 months. And on February the 6th, young man, you go make Texas proud, because we're letting you out of this penitentiary. And while I was in prison, I was a Devil's Disciple. And one of my friends tried to break out and run, and I tackled him. And a lieutenant came and threw down handcuffs. He was going to shoot us both. He thought we were both running. And when he saw me tackle my friend, he said, threw down the handcuffs in the dusty road and said, hook him up, bounty hunter.
Wow.
So I took that.
That's where it came
Wow.
from. Yeah.